Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us here on our YouTube channel. And before we get into the video, let me just tell you that this was one of the most frustrating videos we have ever made. We were almost at that point that we say, let's just abandon the idea and scrap the footage. So the main idea was that we're making a video about these Bumblebees wind killers. But how do you make a video about wind protection without wind? Now, if you have watched our video from Jeju Island about wind protection, we had no problem finding wind. But then here in Seoul, we started shooting and then suddenly the wind stopped. And for us, it was a disaster because the next 3 days we scrambled around Seoul without having an actual breeze. But then we looked at the footage and we thought we can't just scrap it, and we really want to show you the beautiful scenery that we discovered here around Seoul. So let's not make this video solely about wind protection, and let's just focus on the sound and how we record it. In one of our previous videos we showed you how we setting up the Mix Pre 6 as a portable recording devices in 32-bit. If you haven't watched it, feel free to check it out right here, but you can also stay here with us, because what we're doing is we want to go outside and we want to record and we want to listen to it, how it sounds like. Now, in order to do this, we need wind protection, and that's why we bought the Bumblebees wind killers. And at this point, it's worth noting that this is not a sponsored video and this is also not a gifted product. So we spent almost $200 for this and we have no affiliation with the brand itself. Now let's enjoy the sounds and sights of Seoul with this setup, and let me know in the comments down below what you think about the recordings. Would you record like this? Would I record like this? Maybe, maybe not. Let's get straight into the video, and then later on I will tell you my thoughts about this whole setup. I think this is a great area. So what we have here is we have traffic pass by. There's a toy in the background that you can hear squeak, people walking by. So the wind is here, but it's not too strong. So I think to test the Bumblebees in this kind of environment is a great idea. So let's do it. Now, as you can see, I use a Peak Design tripod. We bought this thing, so it's time to finally use it. You can use any other tripod. I don't want to use the Nanopole because I think for the weight it's a little too weak. I think it looks cool, but does it sound cool? Let's see. Alright, you see, no problems in low wind. Now let's try to find something with a little bit more wind. It's quite hard to make a video about wind protection without wind. Suddenly the wind stopped, but we go higher and I hope there will be wind. So it's not as windy as I hope to be, but again, if you look at the setup right now, and you can see in the trees we have a little bit of wind, and this is great because it protects your microphone also if it's not as windy. And what do we have here is there's the gondola, so it's going in and out, and the squeak of it. I love this sound, and that's why I decided let's just record this and listen to the sound when it comes in and also goes out. Alright, so as I expected it, the sound, like the squeak is nice, but like the overall ambience didn't sound so rich in my opinion. Also, when you have a setup like this and you walk around, especially on this wooden, you can really hear the vibrations. So what could you do is, maybe one way is you attach it here with the gorilla part, but you may also have the footsteps. But what we can do is, right now you see that the wind is picking up a little bit. So this is also a way how to record wind sound. You just hold this here. Let's see how high we can go. But of course we have all the people in the background. Now imagine you're alone in the forest. All right, so let's get higher and hope that we get more wind over there. What do we have here? Well, we have some mechanical noises together with the wind and people ambience. Why not? I love it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. And suddenly the wind stopped. Honestly, we couldn't have chosen a better day to show you the beautiful sunset here at Namsan Tower, but that's not why we're here. We try to record wind, right? Or we're trying to have some strong wind to show you how these wind killers perform. But as you can see, there is no wind, and that's why we're heading out to another location and really hope that we can record and protect these microphones from wind. Also keep in mind that when using wind protection, you don't just protect your recordings from wind, but you also protect your microphone from fine dust, from humidity, or any other particle that could potentially destroy your microphone. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to show you an amazing bridge. It's like a two-story bridge. There's traffic underneath, traffic above, but we as a pedestrian, we can walk underneath, and then we're crossing the Han River, and we hope that there's wind. So there's definitely a breeze, but I wouldn't consider it strong wind. 안녕하세요. Oh, that could be interesting. We could also set up the gear here and wait for a bus, because that also creates a wind. So let's just do this. Let's set up our gear over there, and then we record a pass-by. This is actually a really good idea. Let's do this. It's one of my favorite areas here in Seoul, by the way. Now all we'll be doing is we're waiting for a bus. Alright, my plan was that I actually get the sound of a fast passing car and I can see them and they're not slow, but then they see us and then they slow down. So I feel like nothing really works according to plan, but we're not giving up. Let's see what else we can find here around this amazing area. As you can see here on the wind protection, there's almost no wind. Now we also have music in the background. So let's just call this a day, call this a night, and we see you tomorrow. Welcome to another day. As you can see, we're in a beautiful park here in this installation. The wind is starting to pick up, so let's just listen how that sounds like. It's definitely a start and the wind picked up, but it's not enough. It's not enough to say, yes, we finally got it. So let's hope if we can find more wind down at the Han River. We just arrived here at this location and you just look at it and you're like, wow. And that's what Seoul is. It always amazes you wherever you go. Since we're here, but I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to make this too long-winded. So let's hope the wind picks up and just record the ambience. Now under normal circumstances, I would record this way because that's where the action is, but we can already feel the wind is coming and I want to hold the microphones in the wind with the wind killers so that we actually get a real test and see how they perform when the wind comes from this side and hits the microphones. You can see, oh, the wind is coming. Luckily we could give you an example with a little bit of a higher wind. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about all the situations that we had in this video plus the one with the higher winds, and I will give you my final thoughts. Now, if you're still here with us, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, you probably could see in my facial expression the frustrations that we had, because when you watch this video, it may look like 1 day or even 2 days, but over the time it was 3 days and about 60,000 steps. So whenever we left the subway stations or we walked for half an hour, and we had the wind, but then every time you set up the gear, the wind just stopped. We hope that we could show you in our examples that the wind killers work great in low wind situations, but then the last example, when the wind started to pick up, we could already tell that it might be challenging everything that is above it. So if it's really strong, that's when I would recommend something like a Cinela Albert or a Blimp or the Rycote Cyclone. Now, why do I say that? Is because I know a lot of people are beginners who are watching our YouTube videos, but also a lot of professional sound engineers, and they know all of this. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, is if you look at the microphone, right? There is no space between the microphone and the wind protection. So that means in the moment I put this over the microphone, that's where it sits. So everything that goes here is like kind of like little vibrations, and we can record this. The wind creates a vibration, the low rumble. And when we have something like this, for example, then we don't have that, because there is space between the microphone and the basket. But again, these are two very different tools, and it's all up to you. What do you want to decide on? So whatever microphone or wind protection you have in mind purchasing, always keep the limitation in mind. Everything is available, from the wind killer that protects you from low wind, or something like the Rycote or the Cinela that protects your microphone from high winds. We really hope you enjoyed this video, you learned something. We could show you another company. If you have never heard about Bumblebees Industries, we leave you a link in the description down below, so feel free to check them out. And with that said, thank you so much for watching, and we can't wait to see you in our next video.